What happens when the gods choose your fate but your heart belongs elsewhere? When Obinna, Chiamaka, and Princess Adana returned, the villagers fell silent. The chaos had ended, but the questions remained. What happened in the grove? What did the gods say? Asked Elder Enyamyu. They have chosen love. We must abandon fear and embrace unity. From this day forward, no man or woman shall be forced into a life they do not choose. Answer Princess Adana. Long ago, in a village governed by divine will, love is tested, traditions are challenged, and secrets could destroy everything. Deep in the heart of the African plains lies the village of Umyoba, where the gods hold power over men, and love dares to defy their will. This is the story of Obinna, a man caught between the desires of his heart and the cruel hands of fate. Obinna was no ordinary man. His broad shoulders carried the strength of his forefathers, and his heart bore the tenderness of a man in love. On this day, as the forest whispered secrets only the brave could hear, Obinna knelt before Chiamaka, his beloved childhood love. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears as she clung to his hands. Obinna, do you love me? Asked Chiamaka, her voice trembled, the fear in her heart spilling over. Obinna smiled, his gaze steady, his words firm. With all my soul, Chiamaka. But what troubles you, my love? Chiamaka hesitated, her words caught in the knot of her fear. I heard the princess Adana. She plans to choose a husband tomorrow. What if the gods pick you? What if she takes you away from me? Obinna laughed softly, brushing a stray tear from her cheek. The gods forbid, Chiamaka. I am not of her kindred. She will not choose me, said Obinna. But Chiamaka wasn't convinced. In her heart, she knew the gods were unpredictable, and their will was as sharp and unforgiving as the village elders' tongues. The village of Umyoba was alive with murmurs. All eyes were on Princess Adana, her beauty as fierce as her reputation. She was a woman who got what she wanted, and today, she would declare her chosen husband. The villagers gather in the village square. Princess Adana stands on a raised platform as she announces in a loud, authoritative voice, "Hear me, people of Umyoba. The gods have spoken. The man I shall marry is Obinna." A gasp swept through the crowd like wildfire. Obinna froze, his heart pounding. Chiamaka felt the earth shift beneath her feet. This was exactly what she was afraid of, and now it has happened. Back at Chiamaka's family home, Chiamaka's mother, Ngozi, wasn't blind to her daughter's distress. She watched as Chiamaka picked at her food, her shoulders slumped. "You've been eating too much lately. You look heavier. Tell me, are you pregnant?" asked Ngozi. Chiamaka snaps, "No, Mama. How can I be? I am not pregnant." But even as Chiamaka denied it, the truth lingered in the air like smoke from a dying fire. Ngozi wasn't convinced. Meanwhile, in another part of the village, Kolu, Obinna's jealous rival, confronts him. You see, jealousy is a poison that consumes even the strongest men. Kolu, who had always envied Obinna, saw an opportunity to confront him. You think you're special because the gods chose you? That you're better than the rest of us? Kolu asked angrily as he blocked Obinna's way. Kolu, I didn't ask for this. Now, step aside, answered Obinna, but Kolu refused. The two men clashed, fists flying in the moonlit forest. Blood was spilled, and yet Obinna escaped, his determination unbroken. As days passed, because of Obinna's defiance, calamities struck the village. The gods were angry. Streams ran dry, crops withered, and sickness spread through Umyoba. The elders, desperate for answers, called for a gathering. That night under stormy skies, thunder rumbles, and rain pours down heavily in the village square. The villagers are in disarray, some screaming, others pointing toward the heavens. Elder Enyangwu, a slender man with silver-gray hair, stood at the center. The mood was chaotic and fearful as the village faced the wrath of the gods. Elder Enyangwu raised his staff and shouted, "Someone among us has defied the gods." Suddenly Obinna stepped forward. "I will not marry Princess Adana. My heart belongs to Chiamaka." He shouted, gasps erupted. The elders shook their heads, their voices heavy with foreboding. Elder Enyangwu answered, "Then you doom us all, Obinna." Defiance burned in Obinna's eyes as he faced the gods. Chiamaka stood beside him, her love unyielding. "If love is pure, then let it guide us. We challenge the gods' decree," said Obinna. The earth trembled, the air crackling with energy. The gods' wrath was upon them, yet their resolve didn't falter. Back in the palace, Princess Adana confronts the truth about her role in the gods' plans. Princess Adana, for all her power, began to see cracks in the gods' decisions. Was this punishment or a test? She turned to the elders, her voice laced with doubt. "Have I been wrong? Is this what the gods intended, to teach me humility?" Princess Adana asked. But the answers would come at a price. As Obinna and Chiamaka fought for their love, the village teetered on the brink of destruction. The gods demanded loyalty, but love demanded sacrifice. The village of Umoba was gripped by unease. The gods' anger was like a storm brewing over their lives, ready to strike at any moment. Obinna and Chiamaka sat in his family hut, their hands intertwined, their hearts beating in unison despite the chaos outside. "Obinna, do you think the gods will punish the entire village because of us?" Chiamaka asked. Obinna answered. "They might, Chiamaka. But I will not bow to fear. Our love is worth fighting for. Even if the gods demand my life, I will not give you up." Meanwhile, the elders gathered outside the chief's compound, their faces grave. Elder Enyangwu, the oldest and wisest, spoke first. "This defiance cannot go unaddressed. If Obinna will not marry Princess Adana, the gods will surely destroy us all. We must act swiftly. But what can we do? The gods themselves chose Obinna. To force him into marriage might anger them even more," Elder Okachi added. "Then we must seek the diviner. Only she can intercede with the gods on our behalf," suggested Elder Enyangwu. The elders arrived at the shrine as lightning split the sky. The diviner, known as Nena, welcomed them with a knowing smile, her eyes glinting with wisdom. "You come with heavy hearts, burdened by the gods' wrath. Speak your troubles," Elder Enyangwu answered. The village suffers because of his defiance. What must we do to appease them? Nena closed her eyes, her body swaying as she muttered incantations. The fire before her roared, casting shadows that danced like spirits. Nene finally delivered the message. The gods are testing more than Obinna. They are testing the heart of this village. Obinna's love for Chiamaka defies their will, but the gods are not cruel. There is a way to restore balance, but it will not come without sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Elder Okachi asked. One life for another. Blood must be spilled to cleanse the land. But be warned, the choice you make will shape the fate of this village for generations. The diviner Nena answered. The elders were torn. They returned to the chief's compound, their faces shadowed with worry. Sacrifice was no light matter. Who would they choose to bear the weight of the gods' wrath? As they debated, the tension in the village grew thicker, like a noose tightening around their necks. Elder Okachi warned strongly, "We cannot sacrifice Obinna. To kill the god's chosen one might bring greater doom upon us." Then who? Should it be Chiamaka, the one who led him to defy the gods? Asked Elder Enyamyo. The room fell silent. Outside, the rain poured harder, as if the heavens themselves wept for the choices they faced. Meanwhile in the palace, Princess Adana stands in her chambers, staring at her reflection in a bronze mirror. Her face is calm, but her eyes betray her inner conflict. Though she wore the crown with pride, Princess Adana's heart was heavy. She had always gotten what she wanted, but for the first time, she wondered if she truly deserved it. Why do the gods test me so? Obinna does not love me. Should I force a man to my side when his heart belongs elsewhere? Princess Adana said to herself. As she pondered, her maidservant entered, bowing low. My princess, the elders have consulted the diviner. They say a sacrifice must be made to save the village. Sacrifice? What kind of sacrifice? Princess Adana asked. A life, my princess. The elders are deciding who it will be, answered maidservant. Princess Adana clenched her fist. The weight of her power and the burden of the gods will press down on her like a mountain. Knowing the elders' plans, Obinna and Chiamaka sought refuge in the only place they could truly be alone in, the forest where their love first bloomed. Chiamaka, drawn in fear, asks Obinna, Obi, what if they choose me? What if I am the sacrifice? They will not take you, Chiamaka. If blood must be spilled, let it be mine. I will not let them harm you. Obinna answered firmly. No, Obinna. I cannot lose you. There must be another way. Chiamaka said. As they embraced, the sound of footsteps in the underbrush startled them. A shadowy figure emerged. It was Princess Adana. You both defy the gods, yet your love burns brighter than their anger. Perhaps there is another way. With the village on the brink of destruction and lives hanging in the balance, the princess holds the key to salvation. But what price will she demand? The gods watch, and the storm rages on. Princess Adana's presence in the forest was unexpected. Her voice, calm yet commanding, carried the weight of her authority and her uncertainty. You love each other. I can see it. But the gods, they demand loyalty. If this village is to survive, someone must pay the price. Tell me, Obinna, if you were in my place, what would you do? Princess Adana asked. Obinna hesitated. His love for Chiamaka clashed with the responsibility he felt for his people. Finally, he spoke. I would listen to my heart, even if it meant defying the gods. But princess, you have a power I do not. You can change this village's fate without bloodshed. Obinna. And if I fail? If the gods punish us all for my mercy? Princess Adana asked Obinna a final question. Chiamaka charming, mercy is never a weakness. The gods may test us, but perhaps they want us to choose compassion over fear. The princess stared at both of them, her expression softening. But before she could respond, a loud cry echoed through the forest. Back in the village, chaos erupted. Crops burned, livestock scattered, and an eerie wind howled through the night. The villagers gathered in the square, their fear palpable. Elder Enyamyu stepped forward and spoke out, the gods are angry. We must act now. The elders summoned Princess Adana, but she was nowhere to be found. Panic spread like wildfire as the villagers turned to each other, searching for someone to blame. It's Obinna. He has brought this curse upon us, said one of the villagers. No, It's Chiamaka. She bewitched him, said another. As accusations flew, an elder raised his voice, silencing the crowd. Enough. We will take both of them to the shrine. Let the gods decide their fate, said Elder Okachi. Meanwhile, back in the forest, Obinna and Chiamaka had no time to think. Princess Adana led them deeper into the forest, her determination burning brighter than the torches of the villagers chasing them. Chiamaka, covered in fear, asks, her heart pounding, Princess, where are we going? To the sacred grove, answer Princess Adana. If the gods truly want blood, they will have to take mine. She added. Chiamaka gasped, her steps faltering. You can't mean that. Why would you sacrifice yourself for us? Princess Adana looked up at Chiamaka. Because love is the only thing the gods cannot control. If my death saves this village, then so be it. She said, her voice trembled. The sacred grove was a place of power. Legend said it was where the gods first descended to bless the land. Now, it will witness a confrontation unlike any other. Obinna, knowing the effect of Princess Adana's statement, suggested, Princess, this isn't the way. We can face the gods together alive. But Princess Adana dismisses him and risks more lives. No, Obinna. I must do this. Before anyone could stop her, Princess Adana stepped into the center of the grove, raising her arms to the heavens. O great gods of Umyoba, hear me. If blood is what you demand, take mine. But spare my people and let these two live in peace. The ground shook, and a blinding light enveloped the grove. Obinna and Chiamaka shielded their eyes, their hearts pounding with fear and hope. Suddenly a deep, resonant voice fills the air, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere. The gods spoke, their voice like thunder rolling through the sky. Adana, daughter of the royal bloodline, your sacrifice is noble, but unnecessary. We have tested your heart, and you have passed. Love is the greatest strength, and it is through love that this village will find its salvation. The light faded, leaving the three standing in stunned silence. The grove was calm once more, but the weight of the gods' words lingered. Obinna trembles, his voice cracking. Does this mean we are free? Yes. But freedom comes with responsibility. We must return to the village and guide them, together, said Princess Adana. When Obinna, Chiamaka, and Princess Adana returned, the villagers fell silent. The chaos had ended, but the questions remained. What happened in the grove? What did the gods say? Elder Enyam asked. They have chosen love. We must abandon fear and embrace unity. From this day forward, no man or woman shall be forced into a life they do not choose. Answer Princess Adana. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, while others exchanged wary glances. Change was not easy, even when blessed by the gods. Though the gods had spoken, the journey was far from over. Old wounds take time to heal, and not all would accept this new way of life. As the village of Umyoba stood on the brink of transformation, one question remained: could love truly conquer all? The village of Umyoba woke to a new dawn. The gods' wrath had subsided, leaving the people with a choice: to embrace the message of love and unity or to cling to the old ways of fear and submission. At a ceremony in the village square, Obinna and Chiamaka stood side by side, addressing the people with Princess Adana by their side. My people, the gods have spoken, and they chose love over sacrifice. Let us not waste this gift. We must learn to stand together, to support one another, and to let go of the fear that has ruled us for too long, said Obinna. Chiamaka added. Tradition is important, but so is the happiness of our hearts. If we can find a balance, we can create a future where no one suffers unnecessarily. The villagers listened, their hearts moved by the courage of the young couple and the wisdom of their words. Even the elders, once rigid in their ways, began to soften. Princess Adana, once a symbol of power and control, now embodied humility and grace. The God's test had changed her, opening her eyes to the true meaning of leadership. Princess Adana said to herself, "Perhaps my place is not just to rule but to serve. My people deserve a leader who listens, not one who imposes her will." And so, Adana began a journey of redemption. She vowed to lead with compassion and to honor the love she had once sought to command. Months passed, and the scars of the past began to heal. On a bright, joyful day, the village gathered to celebrate the union of Obinna and Chiamaka. Elder Enyamwiu raised his hands as he blessed the couple. Today, we witness a love blessed by the gods. Let this union remind us that courage and compassion can change the course of destiny. As Obinna and Chiamaka exchanged vows, the villagers cheered, their hearts filled with hope. Even Princess Adana smiled, knowing she had played a part in their happiness. The story of Umeoba teaches us that love is a powerful force, capable of breaking even the strongest chains of tradition. It reminds us that true leadership lies in humility and that the greatest strength comes from unity and compassion. The gods may guide us, but it is our choices that define us. And so, the village of Umeoba found peace, not through fear but through understanding. The gods, once feared as harsh rulers, became symbols of wisdom and guidance. Obinna and Chiamaka love became a legend, told by elders to children around the fire on quiet nights. Thank you for joining us on this journey of courage, love, and redemption. Remember, in the face of challenges, let your heart lead the way. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales like this one. Until next time, may your path be guided by the wisdom of the ancestors and the strength of love.